Thank you for tuning in with Enchantress. That is me, the babble. That is me on this evolutionary, revolutionary rise of enterprise at this time. And so, worlds are collapsing. Or is it foundations? Or is it sensations? Is it activations of dormant PlayStations coming into awareness, coming into activation, coming into alignment, this alchemy that exists within ourselves so deep that we are harmonizing the elements within ourselves so that we can be all that we can be, so that we can live authentic to the truth that is being discovered now. Like right now. I'm just gonna be turning. I'm gonna be pausing to some stuff. You won't know the difference, I guess. Maybe in my tempo or my hair will be loose in this next clip or something. I don't know. Anyways, whatever has been laying dormant within you, and wherever you are in your own evolution up until this point, and for everyone it's going to be different, but we can come to a commonality of understanding and having compassion and respect for our fellow soul tribe, soul family tribes that are collectively evolving in their own sector of this perceived 3D reality. Although we that are here operate on a multi-dimensional functionality, it is rather infinite and expansive, and always teaching us, growing us, evolving with us too, for our perceptions are highlights of insights into the dynamic evolution of a soul having a human experience and being able to put all these pieces of facets of parts that we learn or that we evolve into together for some collective better, because we are one, in essence, the same, sharing this domain. And yeah, there's a lot of energies infiltrating, and that's the part of whom is here, aside from the haters, my dear. But you can escape those kind of things because it's part of their evolution too. The people that you trigger on your journey, that greet you or attack you or don't like you or attempt to hurt you or hurt you, or all these kind of revengeful, narcissistic, kind of like plotting, kind of behind the scenes kind of things, or just seething with jealousy, rage, envy, and nonsense. All these things happen for a reason. Hold on. I'm surely gonna have to pause this. Give me one moment, please. Forgive the interruption. Of course, it would be on 2% battery. But either way, so what was I saying? About the evolution of all of us and the ones that are meeting me here, regardless, whatever. Take what resonates, let go of the rest. But for those of you that are on their evolutionary best, I'll do a test, because if you find me and you can understand and comprehend and follow through, man, through every one of my babbles too, you're so cute. Alright, right, so, even those that come here for other reasons, not just, I can be relatable with you in that kind of way, to have that opposite kind of response system from others for varying reasons, whatever the case may be. But even there, those that come here, these are light codes, my dear. What do you think is happening here? It's revolutionary, it's evolutionary, it's transformative, it's transmutating. So yeah, come, have a seat, zip it, kumbaya, and receive. This is alchemical healing at the most profound sub-molecular level. Yeah. And so, alright, so although these messages are timeless, I am recording this on the start of the new moon in Leo, which in both Vedic and Western astrology, they are both in Leo. Typically I'll be like, oh, in Western astrology it's in here, and in Vedic astrology it's in here, and then, I infuse the two together, because they're working together during this transit period, right? That too shall pass, but everything is energy, and so we're getting hip. We are knowledgeable to that, which is grand. But, one common denominator that I find that I'm encountering with those that I'm either working with or close to or doing readings for, and then when you read, those are the squirrels. Then when you read up on the astrological factors of influences that are influencing our energetic fields too, and how everything does tie, 1 + 1 = 5. But, together during this time, it's just like, wow. It's like our thoughts form this trine of alchemy, of understanding. Remember, we may not fully understand something, but when you can understand your placement in whatever construct or under system that you find yourself in and becoming conscious to, then the most important factor for you in your revolutionary journey would be to be clear with what is understood by you, where you authentically align with that, no matter the construct system that is in place, because you know your space. And when you know your space, you're able to operate, generate, marinate, alchemize, get things going, guys. So if something is stagnant and not being put into motion, right, we have to go into the compartments of ourselves under this construct system that already is what it is, right? Earth, 3D, all this life experiencing. We got a system, a society, rules, conditioning. You have awakenings. You have all these things, right, that come into play, and you're waking up in the tsunami of the. And you're like, whoa. I always love to dance. Okay, surfboard. Alright, my surfboard. Ah, yoga. Okay, that too. You know, whatever. Breathe. Martial arts, kickbox. You know, walking, running, like exerting our energetic fields and layers to move. Right? And sometimes things might still or slow down, or other influences might come around, see that you're asleep in that department, and like, oh, let's go, let's come over, let's stir the pot a little bit in our way, the way that we want to navigate, because that person's asleep anyways. No, not anymore do we play that game of pretend, right? Because people will pretend in your face. No. It's the sea of denial. No. No. Don't call me out for no. I was just playing. No. Right? So, brave. No. More. Is that allowed? Even if you join my website, guys, enchantressbabble.com for free, because it's free. I offer a lot of also free content and blogging and babbling and lots of nice stuff for my members too, because thankful I am of you, and to all of you who do work one-on-one with me and book my services and buy, you know, some of my things in the shop and all that kind of stuff too, and all the things that you guys encourage me to do, to continue to do. I am so thankful for each and every one of you. You know, I know that I battle it out personally with the record stuff. Like, I've always been artsy-fartsy, and I don't mind the writing and being behind the scenes, but my even recording on YouTube has been quite its journey, because part of my battle has been battling it out with spirit. Like, I want to come. I even started a podcast after the YouTube thing, which I haven't even followed up on, because I'm more comfortable in my skin. But I'm also understanding that better now too. And I'm able to now put together and see the parts of myself that were influenced by other energies, or even just my conditioning or my own things that I had to work through, heal through. But I gotta feel through. Right, so symbolic theme prior to even reading the energies or the astrology that's influencing the currency of this environment too, whether you're conscious of that or not, or two, it doesn't stop the flow of energy. Just because you don't think about breathing doesn't mean that you stop, right? It's an automatic response system that's in you. I mean, yes, you can control your breath. Yes, you can control your marinations, your energies. You can be intentional. You can serve your purpose. You can rise to the occasion. You can align with your frequencies and vibrations. You can do all those things. But the moment that you don't doesn't mean that things stop, right? You still go on. You operate. How you operate, where you operate, and what you do now, this is all open for many variables, because there's so many, right? And I'm not going into the details, because I don't do details like that. It's like, people are like, but that's not happening to me. Like, it's the example. Grab the energy of the example of that experience and find your resonance. And if you don't force it. It's not for you. And if you don't get it, maybe, and even though it might apply, it definitely applies, it's not your time. When you get to that level of work, that is worth every ounce of mind expansion too. That's something you earn within you. Nobody can give that to you. So that's why when people get upset with me about just my energy because they can't let things be, understand that didn't come easy, man. That came through me processing, me going through the system. Even when I wanted to resist the uncomfortableness that it took to go through this system, because it's a lot. On top of everything that I have to do in order to sustain, survive, raise my daughter all by myself in this life, single mother. Her father and I had stopped being together when she was a year and a half, and he signed over his parental rights. Okay, so I raised my daughter on my own. Okay, and she's 19, beautiful, grown, and growing, evolving. So it didn't stop those flows of things, but sometimes there were standstills or certain kind of things because I had to take care of other parts of things. So now, when do you get to the abstract of everything and say, all right, I'm at a different placement. Wow. Let me take a bow. You've come this far. When's the last time you've acknowledged yourself so proud, like truly? Instead of being so hard, I even catch myself still. As much as I do put into practice what I suppose what people get mad at me and say, yo, you preach. I walk it like I talk it. I walk it like I talk it. This is not an act, okay? I might get dramatic, and that's a fact. And I might get theatrical too, depending on my schmooze. If I'm hyper, silly I can be, and silly I shall be. It's not about entertainment for others, you see. It's my own entertainment with me, my own comfortability with my sillies to be so enthusiastic about things, whether people are enthusiastic with me or not. How often have I been the joy of every fucking room? And everybody's a miserable little fucker, right? And they try to kill the joy, suck the joy right out, right? And I had to transmute that shit. Anyways, rise above, for you must be the example that you want to see in this world. And if not, then shh. 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 What you doing about it, right? So we here, the people, the humans here, that we find ourselves the alien nation crew here, right? Right? Maybe people have called you a weirdo. Maybe people have made you feel outcast and not welcome, not liked, loved, that you have to prove yourself, you have to earn people's respect and love, and they fucking still adore you anyways, like, right? The empath in you having compassion too for the people that you see, because you see their highest potential. Doesn't mean that they're gonna reach. Well, no, if it's you, as it is for me, evolution just happened, and sometimes it comes up like a sneak or a thief in the night. Surprising I have had humbling experiences to bear witness how people can evolve. And who the fudge do I ever think I am to think not? And so, oh my God, I am the seed. The only thing I can ever be, to breed. What others do with those things, that's not my responsibility. Right? Right. So, now here we are. New moon. Black moon, they call it too, because it's the second new moon within like 30 days or something like that. So it's blackout. And then it just, even before even learning that, like, or putting that two and two together, and I was just on my own understanding, okay? Because let me tell you something too about the things that I feel and things that I do in the science projects that I find myself conducting and testing for myself to see, is it Is it spiritual or is it, crazy? Had to battle that out too. Am I crazy? Huh? One too many fudging things. No, right? Certain things just like, what? What, are you gonna medicate me? Try. Right. Self-medication. Highest of vibrations. Right? Okay. So, I'm gonna get to it and try just the babbler's eye, and if you're not having to, don't, you're like, oh, your eyes are all over the place. Take notes. There's presence in all of it. And it's just the way that I am and that I do. And I'm unapologetic too. You don't have to be chef. Well, you will. Right. So, right. So for me, my tolerance levels have grown even too, but I remember when I was growing past like certain kind of things and ideology and ways of handling things and communicating and still working on that and working on the infusions and the understandings and how you can apply this to that and just understanding the scope of the whys, of the whys, of the whys, of the whys, of the whys that go in so deep, right? Like a creep in the night. Trigger, pull that finger. Ooh, ooh, ooh. What's going on here? Why am I in the set? Is it mine? Is it yours? Is it all of ours? Fragmented pieces. We are shards and shells of our own existence that we search for in everything but ourselves. This Leo new moon, which again, going back to that too, and I got into my whole defense mode that I'm working on. It's a part of my conditioning too, to get all defensive too. I've been catching myself and taking a chill back. I'm like, as fiery and feisty as I can be, I guess too, the energy, the warrior in me, always had to be combative, you see. Or, I'm not going into victim mode either. Here, the abused. I've been abused, right? And always having to defend or protect myself, right? So when you get out of that abyss of hell, there's certain still behaviors, patterns, conditionings, post-traumatic stress activations that can be triggered within you, and also too, we trap and store things in our bodies. So you can get a massage, haven't thought about your abuse in over 20 years, and all of a sudden you're crying at night and you don't understand why, because the connecting of that why is so far disconnected from your hive, because you're outside. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to go see the shrink. Shrink. I need to take these soup to get a victims, and it's just passing. That's why too, when I work on people, I always say, especially the first time that they ever work with me, whether it's energy work, body work, whatever, I say, fiery as ever, earth be grounded and clever, airy is my weather. Oh, but emotional is what I do better. And if there's one commotion of emotion, of devotion, that spirit has put on my heart to be able to so travel through, it's the emotional body. Ha! I want to know what shit end of the stick did I sign up for this, but it's evolutionary. Right? Dealing with emotions. Love, smug. I used to say bah humbug. Love, smug. So against marriage. Growing up, even my daughter's father, when I was with him, wouldn't even dare bring up marriage because I was so dead set against it that I even convinced him that who needs to get married when there's love? Who needs a paper to determine these things, right? And the evolution of those kind of strings, too, that develop. Anywho, going back to new moon, amplified energies of this double pounding of Leo energy that is cloaking the environment right now, even more so with its fixed desires. Fixed. It's the only fixed fire sign, right? Leo is a fixed fire sign. Sagittarius is mutable. And Aries is cardinal. Is that what it is? Right. Right. So, the passion, the fire, the regal, the courage, the boldness, the authority, the security, the intimidation, the ferociousness. I said that right? Okay, whatever. Repeat word. But everything dynamic and exhilarating and exciting about the sign of Leo, even though it's fixed in its nature, right? So it might not be as agreeable as a Sagittarius, right? Or sensible. Even though Aries is hot-headed, but anyways, but I was just saying, you get what I mean. But because these are fire signs, all fire signs are hot-headed at some point in the degree. It just depends on the weather, depends on the mood, depends on the schmood, right? So, right. So here you have this fixed fire burning with desire, energizing the environment, whether you acknowledge it or not, right? Which is cool. So, the awakened soul who is privy to just consciousness. Why must one say it's privy? It is when you know what it is, and you're like, wow, how did I not do this before? And be hip to just thinking and acting and behaving and operating from myself and not on some robotic level of hell or conditioned swelling of the brain that has me acting insane and total fucking align, doing things outside of my own hive that I don't even want to be partaking in this time of life. So I fell asleep, guys. I went to sleep. The disassociation process of let's say we're gonna go down even to just children, because it's when it can easily be created because of their overactive imaginations, and that's the realm of consciousness that they are cloaked in. That's why children are pure, because they know no better, It's the adults that corrupt and hurt. It's the caretakers of the children that fail the children, right? In some shape or form that causes this fragmentation to be born, right? This disassociation from themselves. And most of that leveling of disassociation, yeah, you could break it down into parts. You could say, oh, it's because of physical abuse, this kind of abuse, this, that, emotional, and so it causes a child to learn to jump out of their hive, which is the very thing that is under attack in this life. It's why it's conditioned into the system. Because if you don't know any better, you won't even ask for it back. So the conditioning has created this distraction of superficiality to be hocus pocus, man, I'm focused. Look at me, look what I mean, look what I say. These external stimuli that then continue to further enhance the disassociation, the separations, the fragmented parts of these pieces that get scattered into the ethers, tapping into whatever energetic force or vortex it relates to, and you got a fucking cesspool. Okay? Right. So, here we are. You have this fire burning, yearning, and the pride of a lion, lioness, and its herd, its territory, marking its territory. Because that's what it knows to do. Right? So here we are. It's amplified and agreed upon, even if the equations, the mathematical equations between the Vedic and the Western are off to some degrees, because it's always, why their signs differ. That's why sometimes for Vedic astrology it'll still be in one sign, and meanwhile in Western astrology you'll be thinking it's this other. It's all a matter of math and what they feel is accurate, right? Again, everything is expansive. I don't like to get lost into the politics of these things, because, even I am an astrology queen. 80s baby. From the 80s I've been reading, writing, channeling, doing prayer reading before the age of 10. Okay, vast library of knowledge, and also intergalactic dialogues of heightened spirituality I had as a youth that my entire family can agree upon. I had a lot of episodes that I understand better now, but when I was going through them as a small child, it was not always pleasant. And that's why, prior to my mom passing, I was so grateful for her, because through many of my episodes, she guided me through. Never once making me feel crazy or like this was not happening, just because she couldn't see what I was experiencing, and I was just trying to explain it the best that I can as a small child, what it was that I was seeing, what was it that I was hearing, why was this happening, instead I was having more of like an attack, because I felt overwhelmed. It's the best word I can give it. But if you're 5, 6, 7, 8, she died when I was 9, I mean, these things don't stop, we can suppress a lot of stuff, but I never asked for those episodes, right? They just happened, and so it was an experience of us that I went through as a child, and I understand it better now. But sometimes it takes the life of that experience to be lived and experienced, because at some point or another you're going to come into another crossroad or road that you're looking back upon now and assessing as you should. That's wisdom. It's not holding on to stuff from before. It's no. How did this serve me and how does it serve me now? And the epiphanies will come to you as you are prepared to receive them. And if they don't come to you, that's a why question you need to ask yourself. Why? I can energetically tell you a few things that you need to work on first, So, right. Right, so they distract you with all these things after they already programmed you to disassociate, to exit the premises, And, we can say, oh, then we have movies, Hollywood, this, that, occults, all this stuff, right? To point. Who's the culprit? Who's the enemy? Who's this? Who's that? Every fledgling lifetime, why does it have to be like this? Where the human, the souls, don't get their human part because they're still searching for it. Right. How often are we so disappointed that we diminish our own value system in order to conform to the disappointment by disillusioning ourselves and convincing ourselves that the thing that we truly are learning that we desire through the disappointment is something that we can't obtain because so much disappointment came in the way. And so you adjust your lens and your view to fit that distorted view, and then you operate on that system too, and then wonder why something's missing from your lens, because you denied yourself, man. Denial. It's called the denial. The denial. The sin denial. And a lot of this too comes with a lot of accountability factors of things that we have fudged up on, judged ourselves on, have not been nice, have not been kind, have been bad in this life or another life or whatever, and we feel this immense guilt or because you're a good person. If you didn't have guilt, I hope you weren't. So look at that. We all fuck up. If you watch my other video about the hijackers, sometimes you fuck up and it's not even you. Yeah. Hijack systems too, depending on the level of disassociation you have within yourself that would allow for another entity to have that leveling of control or free reign into your system. And most times, people are not even aware of that too. And so because there's such a shell of their own existence too, operating from a remote view, have you ever had something like, that wasn't me? What? Like Shaggy's song, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. But yet, the imagery in your mind's eye of the act or the judgment or the offense or the evil deed or something that leaves you feeling like shit. right? You have to make amends for this, right? And and stuff, but most times we don't want to deal with the uncomfortability of that because it wasn't me. Accountability affords you the opportunity to transmute that shit. But until you reach the accountability factor, then you're just going to be swimming in a sea of denial, which is a whole sea of fuckeries. Okay? And so now, back to the fun part, because this is a fun new moon of excitement. Oh yeah, I was saying that if you follow me and subscribe to my website, enchantressthebabbler.com, I do a lot of cool, fun things there. But anyways, I sent out to those that are members, enchanting souls, my beautiful enchanting souls, my enchanted ones, I love you. A mass, email early this morning, just, on I did it from the bed. I taught all morning at the sports facility for the children's yoga, right? I teach children's yoga. That's one of the other things that I do. And so I had to be at the camp at 9 a.m. And so I had a late night, my friends. I probably slept like maybe an hour or two, because I know that when I went to finally, I gotta get some sleep, right? It was already like almost 3. But I was up at 5 something in the morning, inspired, because that's what happens. I had very lucid dream encounters. I was very conscious through my entire time that I was resting. I called it a resting period. Sometimes, you don't need to sleep. What your body needs is rest. Okay? Understand that too. Yeah, it feels good to sleep. But what you're asking yourself for when you feel tired is rest. Not necessarily sleep. You know what I mean? Although you naturally do it too, or it's a part of your conditioning. Ooh, not that deep, okay? Anyways, right, so what was I saying? I was saying something. I'm gonna hurry up, because this wasn't supposed to be like this. But, right, so I woke up and, I have no concept of time, although I operate on time. I have no concept of time. So, even from last week, I kept saying, oh, I have to do the new moon oracles for my members, which they will get. I'm just now realizing I have more stuff to do. So, without even realizing, just, how these days are flying by. And then, I don't know what prompted me to see the date. And I'm like, oh my god, it's the 18th of March. Isn't it the new moon? I'm like, I keep talking about this new moon, 18th, 19th, on the 18th and 19th. And I'm like, shit, it's the 8th. I gotta do something. So for my bed at like 5 something in the morning, I started creating my email newsletter that I sent out to the Enchanting One members, right? And finally, I finished it. I have to check the edits more so later, because that literally, again, 2 hours of sleep, and I did it on my bed on my phone, not even on the laptop, right? Because I wanted to say, I love working from bed, guys, okay? That's something I actually smile a lot about when I get to do those things, because I'm so active and I'm always all over the place, and and I do what I love, and I love what I do, and you know, it took a long time to get to this kind of placement too. And so one of the things I love to do is write, to express, create, you know, that's my go-to for everything. I like to communicate in my own way. Writing is my first love, you know. I was writing before I was even writing. I remember writing when I was like 2, because my memory goes back all the way to like about 2 and a half, 3, because I remember all of daycare. So in daycare I was 2 and 3, all the way up to I was 4 and then went to kindergarten. So 2, 3, 4. I was in daycare and I remember daycare. You know. So anyways, my memory goes back. And what was I saying? What about my memory? Anyways, memories don't live like people do. It's always up to you, whatever. Anyways, it'll come on to me. Just give me a second. Right, so I have to check the edits of that too. Either way, that fucking email was sent, so they got it however they got it. So I literally like finished it right before my alarm was gonna go off, which was like at 7ish, to get up to get ready for, you know, sports camp for yoga. And so I was like, hey, okay, at least I sent that out, you know. And so in that, you know, I already, in my state of sleep from the night before, I was already processing the energies that I have been dabbling with through my own experiences and what's just going on in the realm that I see, you know. And so it made a lot of sense to me. So now when I see the date and I see the thing, I'm like, oh. So I just started writing, you know, things that, you know, I was recalling just even from reading from before, like about the new moon that's coming and all this kind of stuff, but just naturally what's happening here, right? And then it reminds me of one of my last readings I had with this woman, right? And the cards are great. She has everything. But the next step for her evolution in having everything new, everything security, abundance, happy phone life, ooh, phone, happy home life, you know, support, like, you know, great, read. With some leveling of worry, you know, I'm going to speak those things about some other things, but overall, great energy. But in the worry part of the thing, that it was coming up in the functioning of the solution, it's what is emotionally fulfilling to you. And how often have you complied to the energies around you just to satisfy and ignoring your own feels inside? That now you search and seek externally from you something missing. Or is it? Or is it just dormant, being sparked, being triggered, being shaken, being awakened? So one of the things I wrote in my email thingy, and if you join now, I would definitely send it to you too, so that you can have it, especially to do it within today and tomorrow and stuff like that. Any old newsletters or campaigns that you would personally like to have, you know, because I did send them out, you know, to all the members and stuff. Once you become a member, I would just send me a message. Once you become a member, you have easier access to me through the app itself, and it has a messaging thing for me to speak with my enchanted soul members. I love you guys, but you all use it. You know, and like I say to everyone, you know, I work a lot with my hands, creativity man, and I'm always traveling a lot. back and forth from place to place, different locations. So I respond when I can, but I always respond. And as far as people like, you know, hitting me up on my DMs, like on social media, like on Instagram and stuff, that box is full. So by the time you just get just a like this, just let it go, like, and then I go, and then that'll be what I respond to. Okay, so that's not the way to contact me if you want to get through to me. And then comments here and stuff like that, like this is a growing channel, so like I don't get a lot of commentary here. I love it when I do. I invite it, I encourage it, I want others to, like, you know, participate and communicate more. I guess I opened that uncomfortable door, you know, just plant the seed, right? The quick gesture, full, see, throat chakra clearings. Right, so what was I saying? Yeah. I did get a little tiny break in between after I taught in the morning before my next client. So I did power nap for like maybe 45 minutes, which is great. But it was a slow rise. Anyways, so going back to what I was saying, guys, because I really had to go. Right. So like in the email newsletter, that's what I'm saying. If you want to join, I'll send you any other news blast that has been sent out from previous, but you have to contact me, and the best place for you to do that will either be through my email, enchantressdabbler@gmail.com, or join my website, guys, where you'll have direct access to because those messages are not like my Instagram, guys, where there's like 500, and not all of them should be opened. Okay? Not all of them should be open. And some of them like those people I'm weary. I'm like, you know, some of them I actually physically know, so it's like, you know, like, and I'm not saying they're a great soul, but just, you know, bold, so you know, be bold. So anyways, hi. So these activates, right? So now you have fire in the house, without a doubt. Fire burns shit down. It's also a wonderful divination tool. Fire is something I love to use. Fire speaks to me too. Right? In Western astrology, I'm a fire sign. Sag. Right? But in Vedic, I'm a Scorp. So in Enchantressly Babylon, I'm lava. Because, whoa, it's deep. I'm not even going into the inner lands of my moon keeps, but I'm right, so I'm using the wrong fucking nail polish. But anyways, yeah, have to always keep my nails trimmed down low, because, this is my babies, and they do a lot of things to help the people. Oh, believe me, I'm much stronger than I look. Guys, what if I do that? Alright, so, okay, so, going back to what I was saying, sorry, okay, babbler's eye. Right, so, where I was getting at, even in the morning writing from the bed, that I love, I'm so grateful for it. And I got to blast it, and which was great because that's what I wanted to do, and it made me feel good too. So by the time I jumped off of bed to go and now start getting ready for the classes that I'm going to be teaching, I was so pleased with myself for feeling so super duper inspired to create the email blast that I did for my members along with some blog posts too, because remember, enchantingbabble.blogspot.com, that's my baby. That's the original. When I created enchantingbabble.blogspot.com, I created it in like, I can't remember what years, I have no concept of time, but it was when I was leaving that abusive relationship in my life. I created the blog, which I had left for some time, that I, like, it's been such a journey of mine, but I originally created the blog, which is why I named it Enchanting Babble, and I got Enchanting Babble through prayer. Like, that was what I heard, and that's what I created, and that was the name that it became, without even understanding it fully, and just thinking about the tower, the collapse of Babel, where all the humans were spread all over, disassociating from one another with different languages too, and that whole harmony was blown or burned or crumbled to the ground or some shit like that. Anyways, I created it as an outlet to write my cryptic poetry, to be able to healthily express the abuse I was enduring, because I wanted to rise above it. And I was like, ha! It was like my one-upping of him. Oh, you think I can express? He would even mock some of the things that I would do, or read some of the things too, and not understand it, because he was a fool. And I would hear him read back his words, because he was so cruel. And inside, I was like, do you hear what you're saying, dude? My pen is cool. Anyways, I'm not reminiscing, nor even bringing that energy back. But that was over 10 years ago. Okay. So I had Enchanting Babble through so many different transitions in my life. And for the first couple of years, I was lucky, like I always say this, and I always say this, I was lucky if one person read my blog. So I stopped looking. It wasn't about that anymore. So I would periodically go back and forth to it whenever I needed it. But I never left it. And as far as tech savviness goes, we all know I am not tech savvy. Still not, okay? And so all those functions and readings and like about the algorithms and all this kind of like stuff, I didn't even know how to access it. All I knew how to do was post, which was what was the most important thing for me to do, because even prior to being on Blogger, I was on Live Journal. I remember I was on Live Journal. I created Live Journal, and I was Butterfly Cry 1 or something like that. I don't remember. And what I liked about that was that I got to share that story, which was a different one, because this is when I was with my daughter's father. And this was during our time of towers crumble, burn. And so I was able to make up stories using my story, creating different narratives and voices. And so it allowed me to tell that story too. And so, yeah, I'm much older than I look. Because I think that's when I worked at a college, Marymount, in the Upper East Side in the city, before I got into the fashion industry. Alright, anyways, so I'm not going to go travel there either. I was in the fashion industry, but I think I said in another video before, for like over 10 years. But anyways, that's another story. That's another lifetime. Right. So, okay. So what was I saying? Right. So, enchantingbabble.blogspot.com. It's my baby, my passion. I love dabbling. That's why like people be like, oh, why don't you just start another blog elsewhere? Like people even too, they be like, oh, WordPress is better because it looks so much better and cleaner, and you want to clean up your act. Oh, this looks a little bit too wild and a little messy in here. And I heard so much feedback about so much of everything that I create from those that around me. And I'm not saying that I can't take criticism, because trust me, y'all can. I like constructive criticism. Right? But remember, impact is high. So, a lot of those naysayers and people that try to just knock you off your high horse and try to like overly criticize and not let art be what it is. Let art be what it is. There's no right or wrong way. Create. You'll find your way, your voice, right? Your platform. And so that's what I did. And who read it didn't even matter. I didn't even think about it. And it took this one spark of inspiration that got my juices flowing, where I revamped my blog. Because Alice is I from Alice in Wonderland. Along with Ariel from The Little Mermaid and Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Those were the three that I have resonated with growing up, right? And so I started creating these Disney stories, wild stories, using Tinkerbell, because Tinkerbell 2 is my other one. I'm a fairy, and I pout, and my look says a lot. So, and then I wanted the revamp, which is what I didn't know how to do. And so at that time, someone not even, whatever, let me see, went in to do it for me, and was the one that told me at that point, it was like a couple of years back, like, dude, I have no concept of time. More than 5 years ago. But they were like, do you know? At that time, it was like over 40, 50, or 60,000 views. And I'm like, what? So you have people reading your blog, and I'm like, stop it. And I think I remember my next post of like, addressing them, like, so apparently people are reading my blog. Like, kind of thing, whenever I discovered it. And then, it just took off from there, over 500,000 views, like, it's growing, like, and it's my baby. enchantingbabble.blogspot.com. And I love that place. That's another healing oasis of a space that you are welcome to join and feel free to receive the healing energies of that kind of leveling of babbling and alchemy. Yeah, so I didn't need to go off there either, but whatever. So, if you were interested in learning more. And then, I'm on Instagram at Enchantress. 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 The one and only. And I also created another Instagram, which, if you want to stay in tune and up to date with everything at the website, which should be, for just easy viewing, seeing, since you're on social medias and stuff. It's at Enchantress the Babbler on Instagram too. So, you can find me there. I'll link and put all of that stuff there. Yeah. So, anyways, going back to what I was saying about this energetic influence that I was writing about this morning from the bed, right? And I was noting that I just feel the dynamics of this extra, because it's like they're in consensus, right? Vedic and Western, right? So it's like double whammy Leo, double whammy fixed, double whammy passion. And then I believe Venus is in Cancer, right? Which, if you have Cancer placements, that's revolutionary, because one of the most hardest things for the sign Cancer itself to evolutionize within themselves for the collective, right, is the need, desire, want, crave for love in this very same way that they too feel that they give it, right? And so sometimes they can't see past their own shell. And so they become stuck in this kind of living torment of a hell in a well, you know? And so the evolution of that watery sign being asked to revolutionize their evolution is rather turbulent because it is water. My north node is in Cancer, my mom is in Cancer, my daughter's moon is in Cancer, my sister's moon is in Cancer too, right? So it's interesting how you have that element being asked to grow up, right? Past their own woe is me, pain is me, block in these things, Venus lands, that's love land, like seeing things as they are, not what you want them to be, right? Opening your heart anyway to love is free, despite some things, instead of retreating back into your shell, right? And harboring it all inside, which is the Venusian line of energy influence from the Cancerian element of nurturers, natural nurturers, right? Skittish, right? Skittish. And then Leo's influence. Leo's influence its command, its roar, its roar, its king, queen of the jungle, hear me roar. Breathe that in and let that out. So when a lion roars, everything shakes. Oof, you get even goosebumps. Right? So this lion's roar is bringing everything to the surface that has laid dormant, hidden, and feeling. And it's all gonna be so revealing, because many are gonna be in their feelings, and dependent on your level of healing, that will determine the level of challenge or walk in the park it would be for you during this now influencing energy that is happening all around, whether you're conscious of it, welcoming of it, or not. There's some aspect to your life, unless you're not living, okay, that is being heavily influenced and triggering you to align best, authentically, so in your truth about your passions, desires, dreams, wants, needs, feelings. alignment. And all these retrograde planets that I think there's still some, I don't know which exact ones, like don't quote me on that, I'm not an astrologist in that kind of way, although I'm informative in every kind of way, and a lot of my, anything is all intuitive and just, life experience in itself, and knowledge is power, and we are all free to research and learn for ourselves, and perceive for ourselves, discern for ourselves, and decide for ourselves, which is something else that's coming up. What are we deciding for ourselves? Well, first, let's get to the heart of things. I said on another video that I keep having pops. I keep cracking my chest. It's still happening. I keep going, heart chakra blast, and I feel it too. Like, you know what I mean? And it's an odd crack of a pop that I don't really experience. I'm not saying I've never popped up here because, I'm a cracker. And I contort my body in so many different which ways to stretch and everything, so I get pops sometimes in my body. Speaking about stretching, but stretching is so important. Join me at intentionalskibabble.com. We will happen. Okay, so great. So read a little excerpt. And sometimes I can't say certain words, but don't stop yourself from speaking just because you can't say it in the way that you think it's supposed to be said. Find your language that it needs to be spoken. So I find that too, right, with partners and soul families that we have and do now have in our midst, in our circle, right? I don't want to limit my size. It's not many guys. I'm just saying I'm much of a loner, pretty much. But I can't say that anymore. Because in my numerous tower moments that have occurred within, let's say, the last 10, 15 years, right? That have transformed my life in every kind of way. I don't have any of the people that I thought would be in my life forever in my life right now. And I'm not talking immediate families and all this kind of stuff, even though some of them are too, right? You know what I'm saying? But how things go. I'm just saying, like, I had made and we formulate sometimes childhood friendships with people that we think are going to last forever. I had a best friend for over 20 years. Never had a fight. We're no longer friends. Transits hit. Tsunamis come. It ain't fun. Life on the run. Settle down. Listen now. We're gonna get through this now. Right. So, I can't say loner channel though. It's still loner. And, I always have some level of hermit in me. It's natural. I go off, I retreat. 40 days, 40 nights. I fast. I pray. I connect in my kind of intuitive way that works best for me. It's powerful. what I also do is help you, others, to whomever seeks, they shall find, knock, and the door shall open, ask, and ye shall receive. Okay? And help you to learn, see, discover, recover, uncover, clearly identify, note, know your own way. Granted, I can be giving these videos, I can give examples. It'll always go off of my leveling of experience or whatever channeling or download that I receive. I'm like, oh, I don't know what I mean, guys, but that's what came out, right? That kind of thing. But it's about the energy being shared, not so much necessarily the details out there. There's too many of us to be real specific when we're talking collectively. Right? So, like, what's this thing? I'm gonna get distracted. So, wait, don't stop. Exert yourself. That's not what that means, okay? EnchantressTheBabble.com. I'm looking at the blog and I'm supposed to be looking at the email. Speak nicely to yourself. I never call myself a dumbass. I have before, because that used to be one of my greatest favorite words, dumbass. Just because it was a trigger. She's a trigger specialist. So we use humor to diffuse a lot of things too. Well, anyways, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. So I help you to identify for you what is for you. You'll see it, true. You're like, ooh. But it's up to you to then take that tool, gift, it's gifted to you during our time together, and fucking apply it. Use it. Recycle back the same bullshit that you're trying to transmute, transform. It's up to you. Right. So yeah, this new moon in Leo is all about our spiritual renewal and passionate awakening. Right? This is our golden opportunity to be consciously open to receive our new beginning if we choose. Okay? The new moon in Leo is centered on having us embrace our truest heart's desires and our fueling passions. But at the same time, shining still our divine light everywhere as we serve our purpose. How do we fulfill our purpose? Interesting questions, right? We do so when we stand in our own divinity of truth, courageously. But first, we gotta get out of the sea of denial and get into the accountability factor of a lot of shit. But we evolve past this. We do this instantly now. Right? This is just lifestyle for the delicious, energetically delicious. Right? And then just this mystical lunar phase is the mark of the beginning of a new lunar cycle, of course, too, which sets the tone for the next 6 months. So whatever and wherever you are right at this moment in time, in your alignment, be clear. Don't resist anymore, my dears. The energies are crescendoing. And so the more you resist, the energies are here, fixed. Right? So, what is your passion? What is your truth? What is it that you really do want to do? Are you living in accordance to your truth? What? fuels your fire. It's the first thing you think about when you wake up. It's the last thing. Okay? Is love on your mind? Is love something you denied? Is love something you swim in the sea of denial because of so much pride? Because not I. I will not get bit by that bug, you see? Oh, no. Not me. Going deep. What part of your journey, in whichever life this part has taken place? It could be stemming from another place, another space. It could be even stemming from your upbringing, conditioning. It might be that you're so much an empath like me that you have taken on the energies of, let's say, your parents, your siblings, and act upon it as if it is your own. Meanwhile, it is their karmic drench of a cesspool that they must work through. But you're so lost in this conformity of conditioning that you never even really got a shot to see that there was any different thing. So who am I to question these things? Yet we disassociate from our own feelings because we are compliant to so many things around us. But yes, something's missing. Something's not right. Never satisfied. This insatiable lust, need, greed, these kind of things, competitive natures that just want to go at things. Sometimes those cover up the other thing that we're denying. A boy and a girl fight. I don't want to use boy and girl. A man and a woman that are friends argue or get riled up because beneath the surface of what they don't express are the feelings that they have inside for one another, right? And so combative they become. Naturally so. Because the sea of denial is swimming in that kind of way, right? You have obediently followed and obeyed your family tradition, upbringing, and have done everything in compliance to what was expected of you. And now you are here in the revolution of you. And you have an opportunity now to create the new that is for you. What do? When all you have been trained to do is not disappoint others and yet sacrifice yourself in the process. Everyone's always going to have something to say about you in regards to how you should do things. But that's a reflection of their state of being. Focus on the external life of things. When you are solidified in your truth and your stance, when these kind of energies come into your energetic space, they can knock you out of place when you know your space, know your stance, stand your command courageously too, right? Because whatever it is that you come to terms with at this moment in time, truth, follow your truth, your heart, feel from here. What messages have you been missing that Spirit is asking you to reflect upon, that are coming and showing up in different ways, through different people, through different experiences, but same energy that is being missed? What lessons need to be learned from this? What truth needs to be conveyed through you, from you? right? This new moon is all about courage and openness to love and be loved. Leo is bold and fiery and fixed. Right? So yeah, it's summoning our inner courageous to come to the forefront. We are asked to be front and center and clear, feeling confident, my dears, okay? In our own freaking feelings, stance, what? Why should I have to explain my desires and justify them to anyone when they're my own? If you are for me, in alignment with me, supportive and healthy we shall be. And if you cannot align with respect and honor in that kind of dignified align of we can communicate lovingly, tenderly, supportively, even if our opinions disagree. It's all a matter of how we choose to navigate this time around, our new, when we are no longer swimming in a sea of denial about how we feel. The only person you hurt the most is yourself. When you deny yourself the opportunity to be loved and loved, right? Yeah, aligning with your core truth is necessary at this time, okay? Clock is ticking. This act of bravery will activate your willpower and your stance even more with absolutely solidifying and strengthening you to your core. This is RAWR! So I'm going to make this. That's the title. This is RAWR. New Moon in Leo. Right? And then this level up of empowerment will match you beautifully once you do. And all that may have appeared to be like a hiccup for you or just nonsense for you doesn't mean that there's still debris here, okay? And we're working collectively here. There's still a lot of fuckeries in the system that are, going through shit. Everybody's going through shit. I was tested today through a trigger. And my energy was this cool, calm, and collected. Because my consciousness is my awareness. And my awareness is key to the energy management system operating here. That is me. Although there are influencing energies everywhere, you can't escape influence. Setting clear intentions is necessary for you at this time. But you have to also, because it's also even the dark moon aspect. I was getting a little bit more insight when I was with the kids. It's just funny, where epiphanies can even just come. Because sometimes, it's just, again, inspired energy. Kids inspire me. And so, I started thinking about the new moon called the black moon. And then something said, where is my Leo? What sign, what house does my Leo fall under? One of them. I can't remember the other one, because in Vedic astrology, My rising is in Leo, and I think it's in the 12th house. We are, but isn't, see? But isn't the 12th house of secrets, hidden, mystery, the unknown? Right? So it made me laugh because instead of then going deeper in my thought about this black moon, which is like a womb. So many people fear the dark because that's how you're conditioned to perceive the dark. Scary. Focus. Let's focus on the dark. I saw a lot of scary movies growing up, and now I don't like to go in the dark, because there's people who are gonna get me. You know, conditioning, right? Right. But it is out of the womb we came. It is out of the darkness that we are. For let there be light. What does that indicate? That everything was absent of light. Which, from our understanding of light and dark and contrasting and polarities, if we are asking for light, it's because it's dark. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Who were the first babies on Earth? And how were they even born? And who cared for them? Wasn't about this. Right. So here we are. New moon in Leo. Feel, hear, your RAWR. Evolve or repeat. Your challenge this week is to own how you feel. And be most real with yourself about those feelings. Till we meet again, my friends. Thank you so much. Namaste.